Just being able to insert myself into a place where we're not hearing these types of messages is so important.
Because money is a construct. It's something that was created, and it creates division.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
Wouldn't you like to be a guest on Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham? Well, the link is in the show notes.
And now, here's your host, Blair Durham.
Greetings. Welcome to this 141st edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. Today's show is sponsored by Milestone Mental Health Agency, Apex Financial Group of Virginia, as well as the COO team. All right, let's get started. Joining me first is a giant in the NBA. He is a famed referee, 28 years in the making. He established Men for Hope Incorporated in 2015 to do three things. One, support underserved men. Two, to organize men's efforts in the community. And three, to work with organizations providing services for single women parenting young men. That's the SO concept. It's a tax-exempt 501c3 public charity. Men for Hope endeavors to sow seeds through mentorship and resources that promote education, financial literacy, and self-fulfillment. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tony Brothers. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Nice to see you. I know it's early where you are. I'm grateful to have you here today.
It's really early. It's 5 a.m.
Welcome to Black Wall Street Today. So talk to us a little bit about the events coming up for this weekend. We're excited.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And the events this weekend, for about 20 years, I've been doing events in Norfolk, the combination of Norfolk and Virginia Beach, raising money to benefit young men that are product of single-parent households. And one of the things that was created was the Hope Celebrity Weekend Extravaganza, which, due to COVID, has scaled down a lot this year. It used to be 6 or 7 events over the weekend, but we've scaled it down this year to where we have continued our partnership with the Norfolk Jazz Festival to provide tickets for our sponsors on Fridays and Saturdays. Friday and Saturday. Saturday morning, we have an event in conjunction with Centera and Truist, who are the weekend sponsors, called Know Your Numbers, where Black Brand will be participating in the Urban League. We will have a health screenings, panels, financial literacy workshops, business expo. Centera is hiring there. A lot of things going on there. Then on Sunday morning, we have our annual Moses Malone Celebrity Golf Classic at Ford's Colony Country Club in Williamsburg. And then on Saturday or Sunday night, we have a private show at Brothers with Adam Hawley, who's performing at the Jazz Festival on Saturday night. He's performing Sunday night for all the celebrities and our sponsors. So that's the whole layout of the weekend. It's scaled down, but it still seemed like a lot. It woke me up this morning at 2, so I said something about being up at 5, but I was really up at 2 because it's always the last week.
Yeah. Definitely an exciting weekend of events. Love your mission focus in terms of young men that are the product of single family households. Incredible. I want to kind of zoom in on the Know Your Numbers piece. Certainly the times that we're living in warrant this kind of focus and discussion. Is this new to the weekend events? And if so, what's kind of bringing this on?
Well, 2 years ago, Truist, which was SunTrust at the time, we started something called Money Matters. And we did that at Norfolk State, and it was a financial literacy workshop. And the celebrities that came in for the golf tournament were our panelists, and they talked to the students at Norfolk State about money and about how they were drafted and they had this money, and they thought once they got this money that it would last forever. And so it was real life stories that they heard, which sort of changed the way they thought about money, because money is a construct. It's something that was created, and it creates division. That division is either wealth or lack thereof. And so when you do get it, you have to be part of this process. And so in being part of this process, they were telling them the ills of it, but also we followed it up with financial experts that could talk to them about how to take that money and turn it into something that would benefit them in their future. Wow. So fast forward, last year during COVID, we had partnered with the new bank which was going to be Truist, right, and Centera. But due to COVID, we were not able to have it. We changed it from Money Matters to Know Your Numbers. So Money Matters would have fallen underneath Know Your Numbers. And so there was going to be a health and wellness component as well as the financial literacy component. And the reason for that is that, a lot of financial issues affect your health and wellness. The stress of not being able to provide, to do the things that you need, to have the things that you need, create a lot of stress. And with that stress come health issues. So now when we get to COVID, after starting to transition from that and the vaccine becomes available and people are taking it and people are getting well, along with me spending 96 days in the bubble, there was a lot of things that I learned about if you take people, you isolate those people, you test those people, and then you vaccinate those people, the country has a chance to get better. Well, within 2 weeks, I lost 3 close friends to COVID. And in that, I said, we have to do something because they all had the risk factors. And those risk factors are part of our racial demographic. And things like high blood pressure, in a lot of cases, obesity, a lot of things that seem to be just common to us are things that this virus actually seems like it grabs a hold of, and those are the people that it takes down. So once again, Truist and Centera stepped up and said, hey, let's go after the overall health of people. And that overall health consists of, let's do blood pressure screenings. Let's do all the things that we need to do. Let's give advice and let people know this is what weight you should be. These are the things that factors, because some people probably have not been to the doctor in a long time. And so what this does, because it's free, you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to do anything, but just show up at the Marriott. It's free. So my hope is that, if they can come in and get checked and we can mitigate some of the risk factors for things like COVID and anything else that's going to follow on, because it doesn't seem to be going away for a while, right, that at least we will be in the best possible position health-wise. So that's how that all came about. And then we just decided we wanted to add as many components as we could. People wanted to know, how do you start a business? So we said, hey, well, let's get Black brand involved and work on how you start a business. Well, I need a job. So Centera says, well, we're going to have a job fair there. We're going to be hiring people. It's not just, for show. We literally are hiring people. So, if you hire people, you change everything dealing to their financial component, but they need to know what to do with their money when they get it. And then if you make sure they're healthy, I think you got it. And the same thing relative to business. If a person learns how to start a business, you have someone there to teach them about money. And then at the same time, you can make sure they're healthy because, yourself with having your own business, there's a lot more stresses than if you're waiting for a paycheck for somebody every week. So that's sort of where it came from.
Yeah. If you just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. I'm talking with NBA famed referee Tony Brothers, who's also the founder of the Men for Hope organization. We're talking about events happening this weekend in the Hampton Roads region, specifically a focus on Know Your Numbers. Tony, who should attend the Know Your Numbers event? Are we focused primarily on men, exclusively on men for Know Your Numbers, or can anyone that needs this information, needs these resources show up? We mentioned the hiring fair. I'm just curious, who should attend?
Anyone can attend. So Men for Hope was originally founded to work with men. But as time has gone on, I have picked organizations to support that primarily focus on young men, but we've also brought young ladies into the fold. Sure. And so every event that we have is open to everyone. And Achievable Dream is one of the benefactors of the proceeds that we get from our sponsorships from the golf tournament and everything, which they work with 2,200 kids, both boys and girls, as well as an endowment at Norfolk State that's been put in, that's there in honor of my mom, that works with kids that are product of single parent households, and that can be male or female. So for Know Your Numbers, it's everyone. I want everyone, men, women, boys, girls, everyone to come out. The more people, the merrier.
And this event is taking place on Saturday, August 21st from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Waterside Marriott, downtown Norfolk, right? I got that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Awesome. And how can we register for the event?
If you go to www.menforhopeva.org, as soon as you go to the website, that's the Men for Hope website. As soon as you go to the website, you will see the banner and a place for you to click to register. And all we do is we take your name, your email address, and your phone number, and you're registered. And then you just show up. And if you don't register there, we would like for you to register in advance, because Centera needs to know how much of their product they need to bring for all the testing and everything. But if you just can't figure it out, still just come. We'll register you when you get there.
And are we also providing rapid COVID testing at this event as well?
Well, I think there will be COVID testing, but there will not be vaccines at the event. But we will have information for anyone who would like to get a vaccine and locations for them to be able to get vaccines. But we were not able to get approved on that site to be able to do vaccines on Saturday.
Got it. Okay. I'd love to hear as well about other programs, ways in which you engage young men throughout the year, aside from this event.
Well, for us, when I started, it was about developing programs to, I'm going to save the world. Well, I don't have time to save the world just with the different things that I'm doing.
Sure.
But there are other people out there that are really making a dent in saving the world. And as I said, an Achievable Dream is one of those organizations. And so as opposed to grabbing for the same money that everybody's grabbing for to create my own programs, I said, let's have some events. And people become philanthropists through buying a ticket or sponsoring an event where they can go to something and see something at the same time they can help other people. So what we do is we raise money to help other organizations with like missions. So everyone from Norfolk Public Schools to Achievable Dream to Norfolk State to whatever it may be that is going on, we are there to try to help and provide some resources, especially when it's dealing with kids.
Sure. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention your latest entrepreneurship venture as well. Of course, this platform is all about exposing entrepreneurship. Tell me about Brothers, the restaurant, how it came to be, and just the great things that you're doing there as well.
Well, Brothers came to be through a collaboration. It wasn't just I woke up one morning and said, I'm going to do this, but it came to be through a collaboration. And I did have an idea of what Brothers looks like now, back 15 years ago when my in-laws at the time had a restaurant, and it was called Miss Marion's. And I wanted to do a upscale soul food restaurant with a jazz entertainment component. So through the collaboration, we ended up with a fine dining restaurant, but it also has that jazz component. And so it's been doing extremely well, but like anything, it has growing pains. We're 6 months into it. And, any business, you're always trying to figure it out, but things are going really well. The people are really supporting it. And we actually have a program there for young people. We have people working there as young as 13. And it could be in a host position, or we have a server at 16 that cannot bring alcohol to the table. Someone else has to follow them. But what we do is we have a life skill coach that comes in and teaches our staff about life skills, our younger people about life skills. And then we have a person with 40 years of experience in the restaurant business that comes in to teach them about serving. And so they're taught to make an honest wage and a good wage. And they get a craft or a skill they can take with them on to college. And so to me, it keeps boys from doing things that boys do. It keeps girls from doing things that girls do. And like I say, they learn that there's an honest wage. So it's more going on there than food. We're trying to take a holistic approach to young people. We teach them all facets of the business, from the marketing of it to the accounting of it to purchasing to product to all of those things. So it's got a little men for hope component in it as well, but that also functions for boys and girls.
Congrats on extending your mission through the new restaurant, and really congrats on opening a restaurant, a successful restaurant in this pandemic. Incredible.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, give us the location for the restaurant as well.
200 East Plume Street, downtown Norfolk.
Wow, huge. All right, if you would, we've got just a couple minutes remaining. Reiterate the details for the Know Your Numbers piece on Saturday. We want to make sure that folks are registering and that we're taking advantage of all of the resources that you've put together for Saturday.
So Know Your Numbers it'll start at 9 to 1 at the Norfolk Waterside Marriott, which is on Main Street in downtown Norfolk. To register, go to www.menforhopeva.org. And when you get to that point, the banner will pop up and you'll see it talks about Know Your Numbers and a button underneath that to click to register. Once you register, you're done. It's free. It's open to the public. We will take and stay there as long as we have to stay there to make sure that everyone is able to have the screenings, that we can have the panels and everything. So if Men for Hope has to pay for more time at the Marriott, that's what we'll do. We're going to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity. And so it doesn't work if people don't come. And so even those that have decided maybe that they don't want to get the vaccine, come and find out what your numbers are, because you will also get information on the risk factors for having certain numbers, and then you can make an even more educated decision. Right. Even if you decide that you still don't want to get it, at least you will have been told and what the potential risk factors that are involved. So hopefully everyone will come out on Saturday morning, and if the larger this event is, the more resources we will throw behind it next year. And so, like I say, hopefully they'll come out, but we're putting it in place. Losing 3 friends in 2 weeks was very, very, very hard for me. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else.
Yeah. Well, Black Brand is definitely excited about the event, providing, I want to say 15 vendors that are also focused on health and wellness, small business services, financial literacy. So definitely an opportunity for participants to get information around the board. That small business advisory panel, folks can engage with an attorney, a CPA, an insurance professional, marketing professional, banking professionals, really getting those resources and insights to start businesses that make sense out of the gate. So I think the event is definitely well organized, well orchestrated in terms of all that it has to offer. So I'm looking forward to participating myself. I want to urge you to register. menforhopeva.org. Key question, do I have to be a man to register? The answer is no. The event is open to both men and women. menforhopeva.org. Information right there on the homepage of the website. Just click to register. It is a free event. Tony, this is great. Thank you so much for all you do in our community and beyond.
Well, thanks for having me.
For sure. Look forward to seeing you this weekend. Stay tuned.
Excellence is being able to perform at a high level for a long period of time.
The next level success is just a step away. Stay tuned. Black Wall Street Today will be right back after a word from our underwriting sponsors.
Are you a 757 business owner? Do you desire to make new connections and grow your community involvement? Could you benefit from taking classes to sharpen your skills? Well, join Black Brand, Hampton Roads Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. Completing a membership application is simple. Just click onto our website at www.blackbrand.biz or download the app. We look forward to meeting and building with you soon.
Hey, this is Seiko, DJ Seiko Varner, the producer of this podcast. So when I'm not producing podcasts, I'm actually DJing wedding receptions, corporate events, proms, other formals, and I would love to take care of your special event. So our company is Positive Vibes Incorporated, www.positivevibes.net. That's www.positivevibes.net. We've been performing for over 25 years, and we would love to bring our expertise and our fun to your special event. Positive Vibes Incorporated, www.positivevibes.net. Peace and prosperity.
Joining me is Raki'a Ray. She is a dynamic R&B, hip hop, and reggae dancehall artist. Her current singles, Emotion, Downtown, Incense, Princess, and Sugar are currently elevating on all platforms. Good vibes infuse her music, creating the launching point for her high vibrational, genre hopping sounds to take off into the heavens. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Blair. I'm wonderful. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Also, I'm a huge fan of all things music, so I'm super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I mean, what you do is amazing, and it's totally my vibe to be, sharing on this type of platform. So I'm just grateful that you're having me. So thank you.
I need to hear about the inspiration. Was it one of those things I knew as a little person that I would be a performer? Like, where did this all come from?
I always kind of check back with my inner child from time to time just to see where we're at, you know what I mean? And it's funny because a lot of people will talk about how their dreams are always muted. Like, don't do that, pursue, law or go become a doctor. And all of those things are incredibly needed in society. But yeah, when I was little, there was always a bug in my head, go sing. If there was a mop or a broom and it was my time to clean or the vacuum, I'm the one blasting Whitney Houston and Aretha, with the hose, so yeah. It's always kind of just been in me, and I haven't ever been able to shake it. And coming from a traditional Jamaican family, we are very, education, and that's great. But part of me just was always tuned to music. So I did what they said, but then I still did what I wanted. And that's how, I ended up here today.
Nice. So how long have you been performing, and kind of what's your big picture long-term goal?
Absolutely. Well, I've been performing. Well, I started in the church, and it's funny because a lot of people, they hear you started in the church and they think traditional Baptist or the gospel singing. And I actually started off in Catholic church. So I was singing very choral music originally. Yes. Okay. Gospel didn't come till much later, surprisingly, not until high school. So, so a lot of my vocal training was very classical. And when I was younger, I would get so afraid to sing on stage. It would be debilitating. Just the thought of singing solos was terrifying to me. So, singing in choruses and things like that was really helpful because it kept, it got me, more confident. But I actually, after that, I did some singing in college, some funk bands, I hopped all around. I did rock. I just tried everything. And then I went on tour. And that was probably the most different thing I've ever done, because it was every day I was a backup dancer and singer. And every day I was performing. Every day I was on stage. Every day, there was rehearsal or something. And
it was vigorous.
It was.
Like, yeah, wow. I would love to hear more about that experience, maybe offline.
Offline. That's total offline.
That level of performance, because I know what it takes to do one performance. You know what I mean? And then to do 2 or 3, or maybe to do a weekend, but to be on stage every single day for how long were you on tour?
It was 3 months. It was 3 months straight.
You became a different person.
I totally did. I actually didn't sing for like 2 years after that. After coming back off of that tour, I was like, this is what professional, musicians do. This is what it really is. And I actually didn't sing for a minute after that.
Wow. Okay. So that has elapsed. You're back at it, right? Where are you looking to take your music career?
Well, I feel it's very interesting because I'm an independent artist and I would like to remain independent for the most part. There are a certain level of creative control that you lose when you become a signed artist. And also you lose control of your masters. And what a lot of artists don't understand is when you lose control of your masters, you've lost your art form and your ability to profit off of your work. And so, even if you get a good deal, there's still somebody taking a whole chunk of that. TLC talked about it before about how, not owning their masters and not understanding the industry, not reading their contracts led them to be broke with, I don't know how many hits they had at that point. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it's really important not just to stay independent, not just to show other artists or be a point of inspiration for them, but it's also to be able to create really high vibrational music that is saying, I care about you. I got you. Like, we're in this together. Mm-hmm. You don't really hear that kind of music these days. And so if I, and doing it independently, if I've got to come out with 3 songs a year and that's what I've got, that's all good with me because, just being able to insert myself into a place where we're not hearing these types of messages is so important.
Yeah. If you just tuned in, this is Blair Durham. I'm talking with Raki'a Ray, a performing artist. We're talking about her craft. We're talking about the business. Something that comes up frequently on this show, Raki'a, is exactly what you just shared, the power of remaining independent. I was just talking, though, with a young man, maybe Friday of last week, and he was sharing with me, his take on the industry. We're talking about exactly, this conversation that we're having now. And, his thing was you do get to a point where as a musician, or really inside any business, where if you're going to scale, it's going to require some level of investment, right? From another party, and it's like, how do I manage that? How do I navigate the world of being able to scale versus not, that what it is that I have to give up. So I appreciate you kind of giving voice to that. Particularly as it relates to, what you want to do with your music. That's the most important thing. I only want my music to focus here. If I give up a piece of it, then someone's going to want me to do something that's outside, right?
That's exactly it. And it's important to mention, like, well, how do I make it profitable? Mm-hmm. If I'm fighting against people who have multi-million-dollar budgets behind them.
Sure.
And, a lot of it is just thinking outside of the box, and using all the tools in your toolbox. My cousin recently told me, use all the tools in your toolbox. And there may be things that you don't even expect. You know what I mean? For example, I love writing. I'm a writer at my core, whether it's music, whether it's short stories, whether it's long stories, whatever it is. And so my book might take off once it's finished. It's almost done. Might take off before the music hits the major airways. And that's okay. It's whatever the mechanism is to get it to the next point, whatever you can think, whatever, just use all the tools. You never know which one is going to hit first. Mm-hmm. So that's why I tell people, don't always close yourself into a box where it only can be music. It must only be music. People have a lot of tools. And so, I for a year and some change, I was a consultant, and that's what allowed me to spend a lot of time in Jamaica putting together Sugar and like making the connections I needed to make to be able to put together this album that I'm working on completing. So, we've got to take steps and side steps, and making those decisions that feel honest to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I understand there's a good bit of symbolism, some underlying kind of messages in the song that you wrote called Emotion. Talk to us about that.
Oh my goodness, Emotion. This is a really interesting story. So I actually wrote this song in maybe, 10 minutes. And excuse me. And it was like my ancestors were just like, listen, don't even listen, just write, just write. And I had the entire melody and the backup, everything in my head. And when I went to write, to record it, pretty much what you're hearing is the whole, like, one take, and everything just kind of came out because, I'm a very spiritual person, and I feel that our ancestors are in us and around us. And if we listen for their voices, they'll speak. And I feel like a lot of us have lost that connection with the people who have come before us. And a lot of what this story is about is depending on them and relying on them to be the motion that we need to be the movement that is so necessary right now. So many of us have only know struggle and only know pain and only know what it feels like growing up as a melanated person in society. And we don't know, we feel like it's just us. And so this song really points to, like, you're supported, you're supported by everybody around you, and you're supported by the people who came before you. And so there's this one specific portion in the song that everybody talks about. The beat drops, and it's a section where I'm talking about Breonna Taylor and how she was shot in her sleep, and it's saying it's okay. We've got that ballerina voodoo, and by that, it's a lot of times we hear voodoo and we think that it's something that is very negative and completely against what we have thought to be Christian and holy and whole. But with the ballerina aligned with it, we're speaking to something lighter, something dancing, where it's not trying, but it's almost like reprogramming what that really is. Voodoo is something that our ancestors practice, and it has been demonized to be thought of as something that is very negative, but it's very similar to Christianity in a lot of ways. And so even that is just a learn your history, learn your ancestors' ways, understand what they were doing, learn from them as opposed to what you've been hearing. And they will support you, and we will support you, and our God will support us. And so that's kind of what that's what the whole song really is about, depending on those who came before you and knowing they're there for you, and taking that extra step to learn about them and learn who they are. So that's really
So a lot of depth in that, right? A lot of depth. I mean, you unpack some significant themes. Wow, I'm like excited to go and hear the song and see what I feel in the context of it.
Please, and let me know how you feel after, because even a section of it.
Here's the thing. So this is what I would offer. I think that as a caveat, there are people that would say, well, if it's true that we really have this support, then why are we continue? Like, why are things seemingly worse, right? People would say that. But I think there is power and strength just in feeling good. right? So even if the song is going to make me feel good, that's important, right? Because the reality is what's going on out here is what's going on out here. And it is crazy. And sometimes we are powerless to the crazy, you know? Yes. But if I can be in a space where I feel empowered, even within my 4 or 5 walls, to just, you know, enjoy my time, I'm not even going to argue with you on the whole science and math of it, right?
Yes, it's an energy. It's an energy. You know what I mean? We can feel it. If we feel good, when we step outside our 4 walls, we bring that with us. And it's contagious, just like how that negative energy is too. So, you know, if we can control it within ourselves, it has a ripple effect. And
it does have a ripple effect. I agree. You know? I agree. A smile can transform an entire community's day.
Yes.
Smile. If it empowers the next person to smile, who in turn smiles at their children, who in turn, like, I would not disagree with any of that. So love and light, like
love
all day, you know,
love.
And, you know, appreciate you bringing and being willing to bring something different to the market, you know. I pray the market will bear what you're doing, you know, because people need to feel better.
And like sugar, that's all sugar is about. Like seeing the sweetness in every little thing, you know, every single song is something in there to make you feel good. You know, not everything you want to dance to, not everything you need to, you know, drop and twerk to. Some things you just need to feel good about. Like, I feel happy when I hear this, or I feel empowered, you know, and I feel connected, you know. None of us are alone. We're all in this motion. We are all part of this great seed together that can transform entire landscapes if we all work together. So, you know, we're powerful and we just have been taught we're not. And if we feel otherwise, you know, that's where the power is.
Yeah. So does the writing, oh, wow, we are out of time. I was getting ready to go into a whole different, I want to hear more about your books and all the different things. But I would say this, Raki'a, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. And I would definitely welcome you to come back to our show as things progress, for sure.
I would so love that. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Please, just really quickly, how can we find you before we let you go?
I am super active on Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram handle and Twitter handle are the same. It's at RAKIA RAE. My music is in links throughout there. You can also just YouTube Raki'a Ray for my channel, RAKIA RAE, and all the music is also right there for you all too. So, as well as lots of positive and happy, wonderful affirmations and poetry. So feel free to peruse.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Raki'a. You are fantastic.
All right, too. Thank you so much for having this gateway for people like me. So You're amazing for what you do, and I'm grateful to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have you back.
Please, this will be great.
Awesome. This has been awesome. A huge thank you to Tony Brothers of Men for Hope Incorporated. So delighted to have had you today, as well as Raki'a Ray, music artist, singer, and songwriter. Just excited about all of the great things happening Hampton Roads and across the country, in and through our business community. Thank you to our sponsors, Milestone Mental Health Agency, Apex Financial Group of Virginia, as well as the COO team. A reminder, the B-Force Accelerator application is open. If you are looking for some assistance, developing your business, finalizing those plans, accessing capital, we would love to hear from you. You can visit our website at blackbrand.biz, click that B-Force Accelerator link, submit your application today. And thank you all for tuning in to Black Wall Street today, where we're building minds, building connections, and forging the path ahead toward business success. in the Black community. Next week, we'll talk with Omar Harris of Intent Consulting, as well as Kissy Lee.
This show is brought to you by the consulting services of Positive Vibes Incorporated. We do credit fixes, we do debt restructuring, and we put money in the pockets of real estate investors. So give us a call. We can fix your credit. We can restructure your debt. And if you're a real estate investor, I would love to put thousands of dollars into your pockets. 757-932-0177. That's 757-932-0177.
Phenomenal. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram, and then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party.
Phenomenal. Hey, yo, when I say black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall